So nearby Nisha and Brad, what's your favourite fictional car?
I'm scrolling through all the cars, but I'm thinking of like Christine, the haunted one.
That's a good car.
The first thing that came to mind was Lightning McQueen. It's not my favourite. It's just the first fictional car at all.
Or the piss take of Futurama where Bender
Yes.
is the car.
The where car.
That's probably the best one.
Knight Rider is a TV show about a guy called Michael Knight who solves crime with his super-powered AI car by running people over.
Yes.
Is that actually what happened?
Yeah, Michael Knight. He gets shot in the face first, and then he gets turned to David Hasselhoff, which is great. You know, a guy gets shot in the face, gets reconstructive surgery, becomes David Hasselhoff, and someone says, oh, well, I'm part of a secret government agency where I'm trying to like privatise crime fighting. I want you to be the lead member. Here's a car with a gun in it. Go run people over. And he's like, sick. And that's Knight Rider.
Completely forgot. That's what it was about. All I remember is the epic theme song.
Right, thing is, Brad, you've not seen Knight Rider, or you said you don't remember it very well.
I don't think I've seen a single episode. I've maybe seen one or two clips.
You will know this fucking theme. So, not a Knight Rider cover. Fuck you, original intro. Do you know my favourite bit about the intro as well?
Oh, of course.
The car gets top billing before David Hasselhoff does. So fucking good.
A shadowy flight into the dangerous world
Of a man who does not exist. But like a rating smash which saw audiences clambering for more Knight Rider and ever more elaborate stunts and set pieces, the producers initially had a lot of trouble keeping up with this demand until 10 cars literally fell off a train and into their laps.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So, Nisha, what do you know about Knight Rider? So I gave a brief explanation of the plot.
I know there's K.I.T., the talking car.
Get the talking car, yes.
All these weird gadgets, you'd think they'd give you a radio.
What would you like to hear?
What the hell was that?
There's David Hasselhoff.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Knight on his quest to find an ever tighter leather jacket, which, spoilers,
He does.
no, he can't. There's no tighter leather jacket.
Wow.
He cannot find one.
Can't even zip it up.
He can't even zip
He's
it.
not
He
even got a shirt underneath.
can't. And you forget as well how buff David Hasselhoff was back in the day. Like when I was like rewatching some Knight Rider while I was writing this, and it's like, man, David Hasselhoff is fucking stomped. He's huge.
You know how there was a period where everyone was trying to pull off Matrix coats?
Yes.
Do you reckon there was ever a period where people were trying to pull off the shirtless leather jacket?
Absolutely, 100%. It was called the 80s, Brad. It was just called the 80s. There's Knight Rider and there's fucking Baywatch. And Baywatch is one of those shows where I have grown to appreciate it so much more. Because have you ever seen the HD remaster of Baywatch?
What was Zac Efron?
No, the actual show.
Oh.
The actual show has had a HD remaster and it looks fucking incredible. No. It's like they gave it so much love. And it's on like Amazon Prime, and you can. I just clicked around and I was like, "Wow, how good does it look in HD? Oh my! Why does this look good?"
Yeah, I thought you meant you like referenced in the new film that was like obviously based off. The
Where
TV
Zac
show,
Efron looks
was
like a
that-
shoe
He looks like a shoe.
because he's so fucking like ripped that his skin looks like leather.
Yeah, didn't he like have to go on such a strict
Yeah.
diet for that, and
That's
he hated
why-
it. He
that's
couldn't eat pasta or
Yes, we
something.
get a great clip of him crying when he eats pasta. He's not had carbs in 2 years. Oh, but yeah, like it details the misadventures of Michael Knight in his, indestructible robot car with a snobby AI inside of it on his quest to plough every woman in America with a perm. Story is, he rolls into a town. Woman with a perm asks like what he's doing. A kid notices the car and he gives the kid a ride in the car, goes back, ploughs the woman, solves the mystery, drives off.
When you said plough, I was like, that could mean two things.
But we talked like, Nisha,
Plows the woman, then plows down.
do I need to zoom into the image again? What do you think he's doing?
I was just like, wait, is
What
that
do
with
you
the
think?
car or himself?
What do you think Michael Knight is doing? And it's that thing of like, so the robot car, Nisha, what's it called?
Kid.
It's called K.I.T., yeah, and it's described in universe being the pinnacle of driving technology, and it was created by an eccentric billionaire who wanted to use it to solve crime by running people over. And there are so many just clips and images I found online of people running away from the car as it's trying to run them over.
Is this you like doing your, comedy exaggerating?
No,
thing,
it
or-
just runs people over
It
all the
actually
time.
does it? I thought it had like tools and stuff in it.
It does, but it chases people down. And that's the thing, every episode, like, they have an upgrade for the car. It's very James Bond in a way, where at the start of every episode is usually Michael Knight being introduced to a new feature that K.I.T. has, and then by the end of the episode, that new feature will come in handy. Like, inexplicably, that new thing is the exact thing they need for the scenario at hand. Like, there's
Never used again.
Well, there's one where it's like, oh, I've just retrofitted K.I.T.'s air conditioning system so it can provide oxygen in case there's like gas leaks into the inside of the car, even though it's hermetically sealed and you can't do that. Later in the episode, oh no, gas gets into the car. Whatever's going to happen. So if the lady would have installed the grappling hook from the next episode instead, like Michael Knight would have been dead and K.I.T. would have crashed. Because that's the thing, Brad, you're thinking like, how much footage is there of Knight Rider running people over? Here's one of him chasing a kid.
Oh my god.
And so ostensibly a heavily modified, and I've got the exact name of the car here because I know car nerds will correct me, a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. In reality, the car was just a basic Firebird Trans Am with like a couple of aesthetic modifications, such as the grille on the front and a rounded front, which the guy who designed it, and I'm going to get his name here, Michael Sheff, he found that seemed more natural than the actual look of a Pontiac Trans Am, which was a more squared off edge. And he was like, I don't get why they did that, because all the lines of the car seem to naturally come to a point, and the car having a square, just flat nose makes no sense to me from an aesthetic standpoint. So he rounded off the car's edges, and which he said made it feel like, or have the profile of a knight's helmet, which he felt suited the name, like Michael Knight. And you can tell me, folks, does the front of K.I.T. look like a knight's helmet? And then the inside of the car had no real modifications done to it because all the shots of the dashboard were filmed at a sound studio. So whenever you see like K.I.T. talking in the show, it's just shot from a sound stage of the dashboard.
So you mentioned they had a modified car.
Yes, it was a modified Pontiac Trans Am.
So how many of those did they have?
For the first season, they had 4, and they all had a different purpose. One was a hero car, which is code in like filmmaking and TV production for like, the prop that you use for shots. It's the one that's going to be like camera ready and for close-ups and things like that. So that car realistically couldn't be used. So they only really had 3 cars for stunts, and there was one that was much lighter with a fiberglass body for jumps. There was another that had a special seat so that a person could sit behind it and drive the car so it looked like the car was being driven by itself. And another one with improved suspension and shocks for doing like slides and things like that. So each car was built for a specific kind of stunt in mind, and if it got damaged, they had to very quickly repair it for the next one. And the problem with only having 3 cars is that they had to do a lot of stunts, and these stunts understandably cause a lot of damage. Even if it was just minor damage, like a scratch or a nick here and there, like, that would ruin the continuity of the show because K.I.T. was supposed to be indestructible, so it having a scratch on it was a problem. And you might think that, well, they could just use the hero car for those shots, but you couldn't edit around like the car going over a jump and then in the same shot suffering damage. And they just had a repair shop that was running pretty much 24 hours a day to keep repairing the kits as and when they were damaged. It reminds me of like when they made the Blues Brothers, and they bought like 50 like old police cars, and they just had to keep repairing them. For all those stuff, they just kept crashing police cars. And they crashed them, take them to the garage, repair them, send them back out and crash them again.
It's an endless cycle.
An endless cycle of crashing cars.
Well, with it being a popular show,
Yes.
surely they could afford more cars for stunts and stuff without having to repair them all the time.
And that's what you're thinking. Like, initially, it makes sense. Okay, we had a budget, and we used that budget to buy 4 cars, 1 hero car, 3 stunt cars. But when the show was making money, as you said, sure they could have bought more. Well, they tried to, but there were none left. Because the success of Knight Rider saw everyone want to own a Trans Am.
So then what happened?
Well, very fortunately for production, a train carrying a fresh batch of Pontiac Firebirds crashed.
You need to do that again with the finger quote.
It was planned.
That's the thing. It was very fortunate for production because, like, this train crashed and it was full of Pontiac Firebirds, and some of them were written off completely, but a few of them suffered minor damage. The problem is, under US law, you cannot sell that car, right? Because it is not legal to be sold or driven on public roads. So the cars had to be destroyed. And when the producers heard about this, they contacted the company like, well, we'll take them. Like, we're not driving on public roads, we're driving on closed and private roads. And we'll just sign a waiver saying that we're not going to drive them anywhere and we're not going to sell them after the fact. And GM were receptive to this and sold them, depending on which source you consult, between 10 and 12 Pontiac Firebirds for $1 a piece.
Wow.
$1. Not a bad deal, is it? $1 for one of the most famous and iconic cars from fiction.
That is so cheap. I was expecting, like maybe $100.
Nope. $1 per car. So they got 10 cars for $10 or 12 cars for $12, depending on which source you consult. And there was only a single proviso, that being that at the end of production, every single one had to be destroyed. Do you know what makes it just that little bit worse? The guy who was tasked with destroying the cars, Julius Inglima, was told, leave nothing. Nothing.
Not even anything for like a souvenir
No,
or anything.
the worry was if someone gets one of these souvenirs and tries to put it into their car and that car crashes, they might be liable. And the odds of that happening are very slim, but you don't want the odds of it happening to be at all.
The only way I can see them leaving nothing is by lowering them slowly into lava, like the scene in Terminator 2.
And just like the windshield wiper comes out and waves goodbye. It's like David Hasselhoff as he's just sinking down.
The bit in Monsters Inc. when Boo's going through the machine and Sully's face every time he comes up.
Yeah.
It's that every single time one goes into the lava, Hasselhoff's there.
It's just like,
Just like you can't believe it. And Julius Inglima, he did his job and he crushed the cars and then he crushed them again and he pulverized the remains to make sure nothing was left. And according to him, the only thing that survived was one of the bars, one of the front bars from K.I.T.T. And he sent it to a fan site who contacted him years later and it still worked. So that still survives. And there are apparently, depending on who you ask, between 2 and 3 real kits left in the wild, but because it was just a basic car modified slightly, there are a lot of fake kits out there that get sold as the real deal, so no one really knows what the deal is with these, and David Hasselhoff supposedly owned one and then sold it at an auction many years later. We really don't know if there are any kits left, and all because they struck that deal. I love it though when actors just own shit like that. When they're like, I'm known for one thing, fuck it, I'm having it. Like we talked about, Charlie Hunnam, where he's like, he just took his motorbike from Sons of Anarchy. And they asked him like, are you not going to give that back? So I made you millions of dollars, I'm fucking taking my bike. And then he took like Excalibur.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So he's got like Excalibur in his house. In that vein, like what piece of film memorabilia do you want?
I think I'd definitely love to take costumes home, like any of the Avengers, like Wanda's
that Wanda outfit though. That Wanda outfit.
I mean, all of her outfits have just been
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, I think, is it when you first see her? I don't know if it's Age of Ultron or something, but she's like, it's like sort of a corset and then a long like red coat.
Would you wear it though is the question.
Yes. I would definitely wear that.
On a day-to-day basis. I recently saw a video where there was an auction of the original Power Rangers outfits from the movie. So not from the show.
The movie, because they had like the padding and stuff in them,
Yeah,
didn't
they're
they?
massively degraded. Like they're falling apart. And you can't really wear them. I think you can wear the helmets, but you can't really wear them. But
That's a shame.
to have one of those like in pristine condition, I mean, I wouldn't be able to wear it at the moment. A little bit overweight, but even just to have it.
Just have the helmet. Like, what screen weapon then would you want?
This is a bit of a reach. Have you ever seen Phantasm?
I have not seen Phantasm now.
So in Phantasm, there is a weapon that the character Reggie makes, which is a 4-barreled shotgun.
Okay.
I want that.
I think I'd want to have, obviously the class is a lightsaber. A screen-used lightsaber. The other thing, like Sam Jackson sometimes signs them. Or, I think one that I've seen recently is the hat that Alan Grant wears in Jurassic Park, because Sam Neill still has that. Sam Neill took it on his last day of filming, he has it in his house. And when he's coming back for the new Jurassic Park movie, and he took a picture of it, so I've still got it, same hat. And it's like, I want that. And obviously, that's Sam Neill's hat. He's never going to give that up. No. That's his. But I want it.